think if I hold it here long enough, this will be one of the pictures it recommends for a thumbnail, and I won't have to upload something. That way I can be lazy even more. Anyways, so I figured I'd make another video since I haven't made one in a while, and I figured some of you might have started to think that I might have died. So anyways, here we go. It's starting to get cold down here in South Mississippi. Well, cold for us Southerners. It's not jacket weather by any means, but it's definitely pants weather. Down in, I don't know, 30, 40-ish. Maybe 50s right now. It's not that cold right now. But anyways, on to what I was doing. So, since the temp's dropping, I figured it was a good time to start hooking up my heater that I've had installed forever and just never ran the hoses for, that I've had capped off. And if you've been around long enough, you know that I did these fancy bulkhead fittings underneath for my vintage air. And this is my two heater lines here, and these are my two AC lines. Now, right now I just have a 2-port right here. They're spaced the same as this 4-port one though. And if the placement for the hoses ends up working out, these two will get drilled out right here and here, and I'll swap this 2 bulkhead for a 4 one that I have. But for the time being, I don't have AC hooked up and it's still a ways down the road, so I figured why not just install this 2 one, because what I might end up doing is placing or ordering a double bulkhead for the AC, since the one fitting is like a 6AN and these are 10. This might end up, or the other 2 bulkhead might end up getting mounted up front somewhere, but I'm not sure yet. So I haven't put the tire back on, but when I kind of eyeballed it earlier, this doesn't interfere. The tire ends up sitting right in that neighborhood. And I'm hoping with the suspension, this won't impact. Otherwise, I'm gonna get stranded on the road one day when I bust a heater line. So I guess I'll keep some of these caps around just in case. But anyways, I drilled these 2 holes and I mounted this because this was done previously. My heater's already been installed on the backside underneath the dash for a while. I just made this little hose fitting and I mocked up one to go from here that'll loop back on the valve cover, circle back, and bolt right here to these 2. Now I capped this one off because it's got the other fitting actually ran to heater box. I don't want any kind of bugs, debris getting in there. This one's doesn't have anything on the back side. There's no need to cap it. Not to mention I'm out of caps. I put one on this back side just to keep mud off the threads and dirt, debris, anything that might hit it from the tire being thrown, or from the tire throwing stuff. But it's just one of the little plastic fittings that came with the AC. So what I didn't account for is originally I didn't have this sensor port for the coolant temp for my coolant, or my water temp gauge. I didn't have this hole drilled and tapped in my intake manifold. So before I had this weird little T setup coming off of this, and it made it where my sensor came out vertical, but my water was 90'd over. So it was like this, and it kind of pointed forward like that. So I ordered a fitting that was like a 120 degree that looped forward and then back. Since then I've changed this to just a straight vertical MPT to AN fitting. So now all I need is a 90 here. Since I'm using a 90 here, I'm now short a 90 for here. So I have to order 90. The other thing I screwed up was this water pump that I'm using uses 3/4 inch barbs. This is 10 AN line, and if anyone doesn't know how the AN measurements work, it works off of increments of 16. So 10 AN is 10/16, which equates to 5/8. So I have to order some 12 AN to match this 3/4 barb. Luckily, they sell I think Russell maybe sells them, fittings that reduce 12 AN hose down to a 10 AN fitting. The downside is they don't sell 90s, they sell straight ones. Luckily, I have a 90-degree fitting that's 10 AN. And my dog's losing her mind because she hears people pulling up in the driveways. Anyways, so this hose is pretty much done other than a 90 fitting that I need to bolt on it still. But I haven't done the measurement route yet because I can't pull this off because I have to drain some of the coolant out because obviously the radiator is at a higher point than that. So if I pull this cap, it's going to overflow coolant. So I'll have to drain the radiator down before I can take this loose. I do need to add a little bit more water to my coolant. Right now it's a little on the high side on the coolant side for my mix. So what I'll do is I'll find me some distilled water. I'll drain some coolant out, get that made, and then I'll put water back in. I still need to put a little bit of antifreeze in my overflow, so it's got a little bit in it. But I'll have to order like I said, a 12 AN hose I'll have to order. And then I have to order a 90-degree fitting. And then I can finish my heater system, hopefully. I'm gonna put the tire back on in a few and kind of test fit, make sure it looks like it's gonna clear fine, make sure I don't need to redo something that I've already done. Hopefully I didn't end up putting these holes here and end up having to move this all together. I might end up having to raise it up to here or something, I don't know. But hopefully not. Sorry for the camera work. The other things I've been doing. I did start with this. I think I showed off previously my fancy hood pins that I got. Actually, make sure I didn't leave any tools there. So, pretty sure I showed these hood pins off before. These are quick latch goodnesses, but my hood scoop I was still working on. So my hood scoop, I got my metal in, and turns out I won't even need that other sheet, but I got this cut out. I got a little bit of a bend put in it. I got these front pieces cut out. These are the pieces that'll go up here, which they need to be bent more, but actually it'll go like that. Sorry, terrible camera work again. I'm like looking at what I'm doing and not at the phone. Anyways, so that piece is for there. I had to trim it to get it fit better, but I have the two fronts. This piece up here will be used to make the side pieces, but that is my Eleanor style, or Eleanor-ish style hood hump, scoop, cowl, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a scoop because it's not going to have a hole in it to actually pull air in. It'll have the factory vents that go here, the blinker vents. I'm not going to run the blinkers in them, but there'll be vents here. They'll be installed in these holes. Still need to strip them and paint them. They're still painted the original babyish blue that the car was. And then I need to go back to work on making that hump scoop thing. I did get wipers installed finally. They work. I think I do need to adjust this one a little bit. I think I need to take it out and bring it down a notch, because that one seems like it sits lower, and this one seems like it sits a little higher. I think I can take it out and redo it and bring it down to about there. But right now it's wanting to sit a little high. I did also pull the gasket material off of the doors, and well, now they don't instantly fly out, and holy crap, they shut without having to slam them. Imagine that, without any gasket on them, or weather strip around the door. The driver door still needs to be replaced with the one that MPD sent me, but I mean, it doesn't push, and I can just easily push it shut. Like one finger. Boop. Easy peasy. It did fix a little bit of the alignment, but I still need to play with the door alignment some more whenever I pull the fenders. I really think that the lower end of this got bowed out some from the gasket material, but I'm not sure. I don't know if that was strong enough to actually flex the door and bend it out of shape. But I would think if it can't smush the gasket anymore, that it's just gonna, I mean, it's like hammering dollying something. I slam the door down on it, it's gonna wanna bow it out. And if it bows out enough, it's gonna hold the shape. So I remember whenever I put the door on, I had to take a 2x4 to that bottom and hammer on it to bend it inward to get it to fit right. I don't know what else I can really do with it other than do that again, because the front of the door is fine. And if I mess with the alignment, like bring it inward anymore in the back, it's gonna throw this back or this front part off. And the front line is good. My fender gap, or my fender alignment is off a little bit here. So I have to play with that some too, along with my fender gap to the cowl. It's a little bit larger gapped over there than it is here. But like I said, the fender is actually sticking out further than the door already. So if I gap this more, it's just gonna make this stick out even more past the door. So there's that I gotta play with. On this side, it's the opposite. On this side, it's a bigger gap here, but the fender is actually in a little bit. So yeah, there's that. But anyways, just wanted to touch base with everyone, throw another video out. Been driving it here and there, and it seems to be running fairly good. The turbos does spool like stupid early, but it's not doing like it was doing whenever I first installed it, which is when I contacted AGP about it. It seemed like it was wanting to stay spooled while cruising. It's not doing that anymore. I'm thinking it was doing that from the timing being off, maybe. I don't know how it could, but this sucker was wanting to spool like just cruising, staying spooled, like to where you touch the throttle and it was positive pressure. But it seems to be doing normal now. I mean, other than the fact that it's spooling like a baby turbo on a Honda Civic or something, but it builds boost at like 2,500 RPM or so. I mean, I'm not pushing anything more than 4 pounds right now, but it still needs to be changed to that other housing I got in at some point so it actually runs like it's supposed to. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna have a problem with exhaust gases being able to flow properly. I feel like I'm gonna be having high EGRs. I think it's EGRs, right? Exhaust gas ratio? What? No. EGTs? Exhaust gas temps? Yeah, EGTs, I guess. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have high exhaust temps and it's gonna be high back pressure. So it's something that needs to be changed, but right now I'm just trying to get the car somewhat tuned out and drivable and getting some miles on it, because it hasn't even technically gone through the re-break-in process, I guess. But for the time being, she runs, she drives. I'll play with the gaps. I'll try to get the weather strips done, these belt line weather strippings done. This outer doesn't want to work. I'm wondering if this piece on the glass is like bowed out on this. It almost looks like the seal is like swollen. I'm wondering if that's part of my problem with why it doesn't want to work properly. But I don't have the money to order new door glass yet. I probably won't do that until I do the electric windows. The money in the car that needs to be spent next needs to be on the rear diff and new power steering, new AC, and then figuring out what I'm gonna do with the intake. Because another thing I don't think I mentioned, I went ahead and ordered a serpentine belt set from CVF. I think it's CVF, pretty sure. But I'll have a video on that later when I pull that stuff out, when I get ready to install it. But anyways, I have to replace my GM Type 2 power steering pump with a Ford teardrop style. I forgot what they're called. But gotta change the pump, gotta order an AC compressor, and change out all my pulleys. So that'll be fun. But I'll have AC then. After I do my lines and all that fun stuff, I'll probably just run it with it mounted with no lines for a while. Because doing the lines is gonna be fun. I still gotta order the dryer condenser, all that fun shit for the front as well. But alright guys, I've dragged this video out long enough. Like I said, I mainly wanted to just touch base again and show what little I've been pilling with. I think the hose, or this little fitting setup, came out looking nice. I'm just really hoping it's not gonna interfere with the tire at all. But yeah, I gotta go back to the alignment shop next week so they can realign it, since they didn't tighten these bolts down all the way. And this fucker shifted and threw it all out of alignment whenever I railed the brakes. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and hope to have some more completed next time, because I really haven't been doing a whole lot to this car lately. I don't know, lack of motivation, I guess. All right,
Later, guys.